70 years of caring, committed, and proud of East Texas. You're watching the KTRE 70th Anniversary Special.
Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us as we celebrate KTRE's 70th anniversary. I'm Brad Lozak, the Chief Meteorologist here at KTRE.
And I'm Brooke Deering, the KTRE News Anchor, and it's our honor to walk you through our shared history.
And we say shared because everything this station has seen and experienced over the last 70 years, you've seen and experienced right along with us.
That's right, Brad. So over the next half hour, you're going to learn a little bit about where and how we got started, see some familiar faces, and be our guest for a front row look at what the future holds for KTRE. Let's turn now to East Texas News' Jennifer Keelman for a look back.
Thanks, Brooke. By the early 1950s, television was just beginning to spread across the country as the most important technological development for the American consumer. But our story begins a few years earlier than that, in 1947, when timber businessman E.L. Ktre launched KTRE Radio to be what, as he called, the nation's forestry station. Kurt's goal was to draw attention to the area's pine forests that help create and maintain our quality of life. And it did just that. In fact, KTRE Radio was so successful that it actually got recognition from both the Texas and U.S. governments. But as all successful businesses do, KTRE needed to grow, and things started moving pretty quickly. In 1953, KTRE was granted FCC approval to relaunch as a television station, partnering with KPRC-TV out of Houston. In 1954, construction began on the very building we're housed in today. And in August of 1955, KTRE, the first satellite TV station in the nation, went on the air, led by newsman Murphy Martin, who started on the air with KTRE Radio and made the transition to television to renowned success. But it wasn't just news. KTRE also grew on success from our wildly popular locally produced programming, like the Double H Ranch Show, and later, our very own Count Bubba.
East Texas has embraced him. Now you can own a piece of the Count that made the undead famous on The Best of Bubba. Now through this special TV offer, you can enjoy the antics of East Texas' favorite vampire.
But Forest Capital Broadcasting Company was only one of Kurt's successes. Kurt pioneered the process of converting southern pine trees into newsprint, was a founder of Southland Paper Mills, Inc., and president of the Angelina County Lumber Company. East Texans today still reap the benefits of his hard work and unwavering dedication. After Kurt's death in 1960, stockholders of Forest Capital Broadcasting Company made the decision to sell the young station, turning down an offer that would have relocated the station somewhere between Tyler and Lufkin. Owners agreed on a $750,000 price tag that would transfer KTRE's future into the hands of a woman. Just 8 years earlier, in 1954, Lucille Buford had made history as the first woman in the country to own a TV station. And it's a station you may have heard of. Under Ms. Buford's astute and successful leadership, KTRE made the conversion to color television by 1970 and linked via microwave with KLTV, allowing Channel 9 to receive its signal from both Houston and Tyler. Remaining true to its original Piney Woods roots, KTRE preserved its individual identity as the East Texas Forestry Station and continued to represent the local voice by continually and progressively reporting events and news of interest to East Texans. It's a partnership that allowed both stations to grow and flourish independently as well as together, and it's a partnership that continues to this day. From humble beginnings, KTRE has grown into the most dominant communications force in deep East Texas, serving viewers with news and information, as well as an entertainment program, and by delivering a large audience to local advertisers. It all happened because of the vision of E.L. Ktre, a man who loved the piney woods of East Texas and wanted to share that love with the world.
A huge thanks to Jennifer for that look at how we got here, and it was the work that Mr. Ktre and Ms. Buford did to build and grow the nation's forestry station that actually planted the seeds for what would become the same trusted and reliable news and weather source that we're proud to share with you today. Now, when we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the people you've been gracious enough to allow into your homes over the past 70 years.
What was the name of KTRE's very own private vampire movie host? Here's a hint. You heard about him earlier. That answer and more when we come back to the KTRE 70th Anniversary Special.
Hey, you know what time it is? We're in the red zone, baby.
We're Red Zone ready. KLTV and KTRE's The Red Zone, Fridays at 10:35 p.m.
Back to school means your mornings will start to look like...
It's 7 things to know before you go.
Watch those kids getting on and off the school bus. And a few traffic issues to be on the watch for as you head out this morning.
Well, it's a beautiful start to the day, but y'all don't forget the umbrellas. Showers and thunderstorms will be likely later on this afternoon. Good morning, East Texas.
Let us be part of your morning routine,
So we can get you up and out the door.
East Texas is shaped by its commitment to the people that call this great place home. For 70 years, KTRE has been proud to share that commitment with you through tragedies, triumphs, every season and every storm. Not just on television, but wherever you need us to be. Thank you for trusting us with the things that matter to you the most. For the last 70 years, for the next 70 years, it's you that make us proud of East Texas.
Never miss a game, never miss a play, never miss a moment. Download the Red Zone app today.
What was the name of KTRE's very own private vampire movie host? If you said Count Bubba, you're correct. Count Bubba was played by Wayne Lewis and was a staple of KTRE programming for many years.
Welcome back to KTRE's 70th Anniversary Special. I'm incredibly honored to be a part of this celebration, even more so to be following in the footsteps of some of the incredibly influential and beloved journalists that came before.
And there have been a lot of influential and beloved journalists who have come through this station. So if you'll join me, we'd love to show you what they're doing now.
So basically, KTRE was my hometown TV station.
I was called the intern that never left because I just kept asking to come back after every time I would finish a semester of school.
Working at KTRE was my first professional television job and really kind of my first professional job, period.
We were all so young, really didn't know what we were doing in many ways. And actually I still have some lifelong friendships of people that I worked alongside, but very young team, but very talented.
It was really amazing when I first got to KTRE and saw all of the friendly faces greeting me, ready to welcome me in and help me to be a part of this news team.
My absolute first TV job was running teleprompter at KTRE.
The first time I had the opportunity to walk into KTRE was fortunately for my first interview, and it felt like stepping into a whole entire different world. Everything was exactly how I would hoped it would be for a first job.
So when I first got here in 2008 and was out in the community and meeting people and learning about my new home, people were so quick to tell me about their very favorite newsman in East Texas, and that was the one and only Murphy Martin. When I was anchoring the 6 and 10 o'clock news, I wanted to have a little nod, a little throwback to Murphy Martin's era at KTRE. He would sign off every newscast, looking into the camera, and would say, "That's my time, thanks for yours."
That's our time. Thanks so much for yours. We hope to see you right back here at 10 o'clock. Tina Alexander was the news director and anchor. I'll never forget it. I was so intimidated because she had been there for so long and she was such a pro and people had so much respect for her.
I learned a lot while I was here. I had great employees from the engineering side that had been there for a long time. Javi Morgan, Jerry Foley, Lane, Lowry, and then of course the great Donna McCollum.
Oddly enough, I learned about KTRE through another interview. I was actually interviewing for a radio job in Nacogdoches. I didn't even know there was a TV station in the Lufkin-Nacogdoches area. So I just happened to find out about it by the person who was interviewing me. So what did I do? I got on the phone and I got Bob Bashaw, the news director at the time. Got an interview for the following week, and the rest opened up a new chapter in my life.
I remember how much a part of the community those reporters and photographers were. And the stories they brought to viewers were stories that they got from viewers. I remember, yes, they had relationships with the official people, the police officers, the firefighters, all of that. That's really important. But I remember going into barber shops, beauty salons, churches, and watching them talk to people and listen and have those people tell them what was important to them, what was going on in their community, what was going on in their neighborhoods. And that type of community reporting was instilled in me, and I took it everywhere I went.
When I came in, I was a reporter, I did some anchoring, and then I became public service director. And so that put me in direct line with the community. As far as like news, we were so focused on not only being just like trying to be the first to put a news story out, but we wanted to be accurate. That was very important, is being, you want to inform, but you want to provide the correct information to people. So that was a big deal with KTRE, still is today. And you know what? I am so proud of East Texas.
KTRE really strives to not just provide that local news, but be the best source of that local news and really touch on the communities that may be either underserved or not heard from in a while, and really focus on traditions and things that make our communities unique and special and thrive. And it was always just so fun to, whether we were talking about the Blueberry Festival in the summer or the Lufkin Reindeer Pump, like there are so many things that make East Texas so valuable and wonderful and heartfelt. And those are the things that really just make me miss being here at KTRE, but also just make me really proud to be here as well.
When I was at KTRE, and I would say it still rings true today, is where else are you going to get the news in your backyard? And it sounds simple, but in the world where, ESPN and it's all national stories, where else are you going to hear about your Lufkin Panthers? Where else are you going to hear about your Nacogdoches Dragons, your Diboll Lumberjacks, your Alto Yellow Jackets? Where else are you going to hear about them and their stories and highlighting the unsung hero in the community?
I think one of the things that really makes KTRE unique, not only among East Texas news organizations, but television stations around the country, is our motto. We're caring, committed, and proud of East Texas. It's not, action news. It just simply states who we are and what we're committed to, and that is you. Every day, every night, we are thinking about this community and the stories that we cover and the way that we cover them, and realize that these are real lives. It impacts real people, our friends and our neighbors. We are of this community, and that has been at the heart of what we do. And we are proud to be from East Texas.
Now I am working here in Los Angeles, California. I've actually been in California for about 6 years now, but I take every single thing that I learned during my time at KTRE with me wherever I've gone since then. They made such an impression on me, the time, the community, the stories I had the opportunity to share and tell. I feel so blessed. blessed to have had that opportunity. And of course, as we are celebrating 70 years of excellence serving the Piney Woods, I can't tell you how proud I am to have been a part of that legacy. And again, something that I will cherish as I go in my career from here on out, and something I've taken with me every step of the way.
When I'm in Nacogdoches, there's hardly a day that goes by that I'm not asked, are you enjoying retirement? My answer is yes, immensely. I have more time for my family. I have more time for my hobbies. I'm currently training a horse named Billy, who I will someday bring to Colorado, where I love to spend my summers. But 70th anniversary, I'm never too far from KTRE.com.
Now I'm a teacher at Lufkin High School. I teach video production. And if you would have asked myself 10 years ago if I would have ever become a teacher, I would say no way. I'm not going to be a teacher, but an opportunity came up. Now I see about 80 students a day, 160 to 200 students a year by the time the program's done for the year in May. And I teach them everything I know, from how to turn a camera on and just press record to making a good news broadcast. We've had students qualify for nationals with broadcasting with the Business Professionals of America competition. I've had a student become a state semifinalist in the UIL film competition, and so it's just been really fun to see students grow, coming in not knowing what they were doing and putting out a product that's getting noticed by people around the country.
It was a great experience for me because I didn't know what I was getting into, and I had wonderful people that taught me, and not in a way that I was uneducated, but they taught me, here's how things can be done to be more efficient, to be more effective, that you can do in any job. So you walk into a new job, I didn't know anything about anything television related, but KTRE, the people who worked there, they taught me how to be effective, and I felt like they did a great job.
I know today, things have changed so much, and everybody wants to be the first to put a story out, or they want to have it on their site, or whatever. But one thing you are going to get at KTRE, and still today, is you're going to get some accuracy. We're going to check and double check and just make sure that all the information is correct before you hear about it.
A few years in, I had actually signed a contract with another station in another state. I won't name names. And our now news director, Joe Terrell, sat me down and said, "You're not going to that job." And I was like, "No, I am going to that job. I already told them I was going to that job." And he goes, "No, you're not going to go to that job." And that's when he said, "You're going to do Good Morning East Texas." And I really contemplated it for a long time. Took the job, God knew what I was doing, and it was the best decision of my life because a few short years later, Blake Holland walked into the newsroom, and that would be my husband, the father of my child, and I don't regret it for a second. Now, Blake was a good reason to stay, but that's really the reason. And East Texas is the middle ground for both of our families, and it started to become too perfect to leave. And so we're very, very blessed, and we've made this our home in so many different ways. And KTRE and KLTV, they really sunk their nails in. So
KTRE Television is extremely proud to be celebrating its 70th year of serving Deep East Texas. Likewise, I'm pretty proud knowing that I served as a news reporter for over 44 years with KTRE.
Thank you to everyone in that package for sharing their experiences and stories. I've worked with a handful of them myself and can say without a doubt that this station is better because of their work. But there are a few we didn't get to hear from because sadly, they're no longer with us. And I'd like to take a moment to remember them now.
Welcome back to KTRE's 70th anniversary special. So we've spoken to a lot of people who have helped shape this television station, but there's one more thing we'd like to put a spotlight on before we wrap up. As we mentioned at the beginning of the program, that this was a shared history. And that's true, it's a history we share with you, the viewer. None of what we've seen, none of what we will see is remotely possible without you. It's your stories that we've been fortunate enough to tell, your triumphs, your tragedies, and the way you support each other through both. It's you that make us proud of East Texas.
Pretty much major damage to every structure on the property. Initially, we had this safety was our first issue. We're in the process of cleanup. Then after that, it's like the next few weeks, it's going to be, what do we do now? Where do we go from here?
Right now, we've got a lot of cleanup going on. My neighbor next door, Greg Ray, he has Hamlet Construction. Within a matter of seconds, he had people mobilized with equipment, chainsaws, start taking care of everybody's houses, patching roofs, and getting trees off of the houses.
I gathered everybody up that I could get gathered up. We're over here putting these people's houses back together. These are my neighbors, these are my friends, these are like my family. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them. When it's time to go, it's time to go. And that's what we do, we take care of each other around here.
I'm so proud to be a part of East Texas that we have this type of emergency response.
This is very similar to like a tornado relief that we would be doing after this severe storm. So we're doing a lot of chainsaw work and getting logs basically to the road so the county can clear them up. We are specifically looking for elderly people or people that don't have insurance that can cover this kind of repair and cleanup that we're doing.
That's all I could do to praise them and say amazing, phenomenal, awesome. You can say all those particular things, but it don't really describe how much they've done out here and how much it means to me and my family.
These people are neighbors, we're going to help them. When you find yourself in a situation where you can help, remember this day. The items that they send are just what folks need.
It's a godsend. It's really supplies we needed and the help we needed because nobody's got that kind of money.
And I went to the store and there was nothing at the stores the other day. I was looking for water and stuff, it's all sold out. So this really helped a lot.
It sounds like a freight train. I mean, it's just a rumbling beyond belief.
It's amazing how close-knit everyone is and how quick they are to come to the aid of their neighbors. This is something I never want to live through again.
It makes you get a feeling that someone cares, you know. You see it on TV and you don't realize the devastation of it or how it affects a person. But when it actually happens to you, wow, you want to see that smiling face and that person driving says, anything I can do, can I give you some water?
They had clothes yesterday, now they don't. They may have had a loved one yesterday, and now they don't.
It's something that you do, when your neighbor needs help, you help your neighbor. I think a lot of things that we try to figure out, is this something I should do? And I think this is a pretty simple answer, If you have the opportunity to go help when there's a need, then yeah, you go help.
Packaged food is amazing in an emergent situation, but it's just some of the comfort, of eating a hot meal that somebody took time and effort to do. That's more to me, more homey, everyday, regular people who want to help.
This house was built once, it can be built again, and then we can move on. Today is awesome, awesome. If you can see all the people who are here, they're all volunteers, just coming out of the goodwill. Most of this stuff is donated.
It started way back in the spring after the tornadoes had come through. The mayor of Flower Mound and the fire chief from Flower Mound came out, saw there was a need, and then from there we raised the funds.
In the line of work of first responders, you see the worst of the worst. So it's heartwarming to see so many people who want to show up and help.
I grew up in a place where neighbors help neighbors, plain and simple. I'm glad to be out here doing it.
Lives are not replaceable, but material things are. You can look at something and see the worst of it, or you can see something good come out of it. That's kind of the way we look at it.
East Texas is better because of all of you, and it's you that we can't wait to share the next 70 years with. On behalf of Brooke, myself, and everyone here at KTRE, thank you and good night.